Hello there. The Tories have now so sullied the honours list system that only a root and branch reform of it will do to ensure no one's mates ever gets a reward for a leg up or for a leg over ever again. The shameless horse trading and bartering over the Boris Johnson and Liz Truss resignation honours lists brings the rottenness of the whole system into stark relief, with Boris Johnson's contribution looking particularly seedy, especially now that Partygate 2, or whatever it's been called, has come to light. And now people are expecting the PM to wade in and start cutting the chaff out. The ones that got caught by that video's cake and booze party. And most of the time these people are rewarded for doing their highly paid jobs or just because of who they know. Yes, I know that some who are elevated as an honour to the House of Lords make solid contributions, but we also regularly hear of those that do not. Why should someone get that position if they're not going to do their bit in return? And I sometimes wonder if some of them are capable of doing it in the first place, especially one or two of Boris Johnson's contributions. The people who get the top awards should be those who do the most for people while having the least to gain. But they are usually the ones given the lower orders, while the rich, famous and powerful pick up the juicy titles. The trouble is, that system is now definitely losing its shine, and we definitely need to end this House of Lords tenure for life thing. How does that fit into a modern democracy? And handing out fancy baubles to your mates is definitely a throwback to the real days of patronage and corruption. But the trouble is that politicians who say they want to change all of this, once they're in a position to do so, suddenly realise that without this honours system thing, they can't offer rewards for voting the right way. They can't dangle a knighthood in front of an official to encourage them to play nicely. And that they need the red benches on the House of Lords to shuffle the unwanted off to now and again. And this whole system works against the concept that you need the upper house to be a revising chamber full of experts in different fields who can take the output of the House of Commons and make it work more efficiently. All we've mostly got is a bunch of political place persons towing the party line, or more recently towing the anti-Brexit line. Although that will have been part of the civil service input into the selection process, no doubt. Oh, and the civil service loves the honours system too. It gives their senior members so much more scope for post-career jobs with a few more letters after their name, etc. If we have to appoint these people, why not do so for a one-time only 10-year period? Now at the moment, out of the, I think, 778 sitting peers, 91 of them are still hereditary. Is that something that should now be knocked on the head? Do they offer something that an appointee couldn't offer? And given that our bishops no longer seem to follow Christianity, is it right that we have Lords Spirituals sitting by right in the House of Lords? From what little I've seen of their input, it's more about lefty sociology than it is about religion. But the really big question to ask is, are we being properly served by the way the House of Lords is currently set up? It seems to me that we need far fewer of them for a start, while paying them a proper wage to turn up and work instead of an allowance when they bother to turn up, even if they do very little or nothing at all when they're there. And because it's a lifetime tenure, the average age must be pretty high as well. Yes, with age comes wisdom, but with age comes gaga and constant naps too. Now one option is for an elected second chamber, but that would have to be set up in such a way that the Commons always takes precedence, We don't need representatives in the upper chamber claiming they have more of a democratic mandate than those in the lower house just because they got more votes. But the House of Lords, as it is currently constituted, will of course fight any such reform tooth and nail, as will the wider establishment that sees the Lords and the wider honours system as a controllable method of reward and encouragement. So one suspects the Sir Humphrey Appleby-style reports on the matter will point to extremely insurmountable constitutional barriers to change. The saying goes that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But from what I see, the honours system and the Lords is old, broken and rusty, and no amount of oil is going to fix that. Once again, our politicians have been shown to be weak on defence. We now learn that the Royal Navy submarine service is not awash with people, and submariners operate the UK's continuous at-sea nuclear deterrent Vanguard-class SSBNs, as well as the nuclear-powered but conventionally armed hunter-killer SSNs. We got that from the First Sea Lord Admiral Sir Ben Key talking to Sophie Church for Politics Home. And I would also say that the Royal Navy is not awash with the ships and submarines it needs either. The Admiral said that when he joined the Royal Navy there were 75,000 personnel, and today that's just 36,000, and getting new recruits, especially for the submarine service, is getting tough. We are effectively in a war for talent in this country, he said. And one of the issues is that the armed forces has got so small that fewer and fewer people understand the armed forces compared to decades ago when they were a larger share of the population, especially after the Second World War. At one time, uniforms were everywhere. Now they're only seen in military areas, if at all. As a result, the RN is investing in outreach teams to explain to potential new recruits what it means to be a submariner. He also said the Navy needs to get bigger, but after decades of cuts, a slimming down mindset is hard to shift. For the first time since the end of the Second World War, we have got to get bigger. And that is not in our DNA. We have had 80 years of effectively getting smaller, he said. And here we are with the largest ever population in our history, with more people working than ever before and paying tax, or so we're told, and we have a shrinking army, navy and air force. Talk about a total political fail. Richard.
Firstly, on behalf of Jeff Taylor and myself, I would like to thank you all for supporting this channel over the years, seeing as we have now gone over 100 million views, and that has been blood, sweat and tears for Jeff and myself. But I would just like to pay tribute to Jeff, who is one of the finest men I have ever met, a true friend and probably the hardest working person I know. He spends 12 hours a day, most days of the week, working on what he loves. Not many people of his age can or would be prepared to do that. And he is an all-round splendid chap. Just don't go round for round drinking with him. It can make you very ill. Oh, and I will let you into a little secret. Jeff has decided to move into the realms of EDM, which to those of you over the age of 40 is electronic dance music. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Jeff is now embarking on his second career as an EDM artist. Now, I initially laughed at the thought of Jeff being a DJ. But if anyone can do the unexpected and succeed in a new venture, well, we are talking about Jeff Taylor here. So I have 100% faith in his ability to make the best dance music you will have ever heard. I myself have been a musician and a composer for, well, most of my life. So I look forward to collaborating with Jeff in a new field and joining him on stage at a rave in the next couple of years. It's been a long time since I made any EDM music, and it's a genre that Takes me back to my wild teens and 20s, which might be worth revisiting. I find it incredible to believe that it has been 15 years since Jeff and I first began working together, and we have had our fair share of battles to fight as people tried to silence us, and I am sure there will be plenty more battles in the future. But when we walk down the street and some of you come on to us and offer your support, it makes it all worthwhile. And, some of your emails and phone messages have been very encouraging, and we thank you for those. Actually, thinking about it, 15 years? That's probably the most successful and longest relationship of my life. Anyway, what do you lot think about the verbal outpourings in today's videos? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Jeff's midday video, and we will both see you here again tomorrow at 7 p.m.